Again, all but to to good luck to all who are presenting themselves for the election. All have potential. I did say, why I would vote for a specific party. It's nothing against the other parties. It's only because it has more experience with the forces, but all of them have potential. And Pierre, I would consider stand up if I were you, because you are a funny man. If the government watches this, you would actually kill on stage. You're a funny man. You crack me up. You can dish. Comebacks and stuff. I saw you. When Justin dished it out. I would just see you more as a stand-up comedian. You would do very well. Not that you would be a bad leader, but I would like to see you doing more jokes. Doing stand-up personally. Uh, and Mark Carney, at least he said some truths. And Pierre Polyev did admit, what happened at the hospital. The conservatives did at least admit it. They didn't hide it. What I do appreciate about the government is at least they didn't hide it. And they're starting to, as a whole, talk about some truths about me. They're starting to tell the truth. So I can appreciate the entire government for at least trying to rectify some things. And I want to turn the page. The only reason I would vote for Jagmeet Singh if I would be in Ontario is because he has more experience with the forces, and that's the only reason. I don't want to influence anybody's vote. Vote for who you think has the right plan. No matter what your vote counts. Anybody, vote. Go vote. It's important. It's your right. It is one of your rights is to vote, and I would never strip you of your right to vote. Right now, I'm lead. I'm in charge, right, of Canada and U.S. and England. Technically, I'm leading three countries, but I can't remove your rights. I can't take away your right to vote. My grandfather Pierre Elliott Trudeau gave you your rights. The Queen gave you your rights. They gave you your right to vote, and it would be wrong for me to strip you of your right to vote. So go vote. This election, don't be shy. Go vote for who you think matters. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not hiding who I would vote for. I'm not saying you should say who you vote for. And I'm not trying to influence your vote. Because all these contestants show potential, in my opinion. They all have a plan for the country. They all want to do good for the country, deep down. They're all smart businessmen. What I would be grateful one day is if a female would become prime minister. I would see a female leading the country one day. And you want to know who my vote would go for? Either my wife or Justin Trudeau's daughter. I would see Ella becoming a future prime minister if she wants to follow in her dad's and grandfather's footsteps. But I would also see my wife as a leader. It would be great, if a female would represent the country. Just a change. For the first time, it would be great if the prime minister is a female. I know the minister of New Brunswick is a female. I don't remember her name at the top of my head, but right now it's a female. So that's the first for the province. So congrats. Your vote matters. No matter what, who you vote for, quit bickering and just vote. You know what I mean? And again, I want to turn the page. Yes, we were at each other's throats for a while. I was angry at the government. I was angry at the system. I was sad about a lot of things. I'm not hiding the fact that I didn't rebel. I did rebel, for a little while. I had a Facebook account and I did rebel. I'm not hiding that. Although I'm not guilty of committing crimes. I predicted certain things. Yes. I'm psychic. Yes, I predicted certain things, but I committed no crime. But I did rebel. I will admit that I voiced my frustrations. I use my voice, and I have the right, the freedom of speech. You know, but I don't want to spend the rest of my life arguing. I don't want to spend the rest of my life in a war. There's war enough in the world. I want to do good. I want to heal people. I want to discover. I want to work in science. You know what I mean? I'm more passionate about science in general, whether it's astrophysics, biochemistry, medicine, paleontology, archaeology. It doesn't matter. I'm more interested in science than being a leader. And I had a hard life. I'm not gonna hide that, and I don't want to bitch. I was bullied a lot. I worked hard. I was through a lot of hardships and tragedy and stuff, but it made me who I am today. It made me a humble person, made me a hardworking person, made me a kind person, and it made me a qualified leader. But I want you to have the right to decide who is gonna lead the country, right? And I don't want to remove all your rights. You know, me turning the three countries into one royal monarchy would strip you of your rights, your right to vote. Would strip you of all your rights, and you would still have laws to follow, but you wouldn't have any right. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have any right to decide. I would call the shots, and that could be a good thing because I have a good heart. Deep down, it wouldn't be such a bad thing. But I would feel wrong to remove you of your right. I want the country to decide for yourself. You know what I mean? What do you want? And same for the Americans. You know, I'm willing to give them free Medicare and give them better rights and stuff. And I can see, you know, there's a lot of protests against Trump and Elon Musk. Whether or not we annex them, I want better for the Americans. Because I work for both countries. It's up to the people to decide. I'm leaving that decision to the people, both Canadians and Americans. I can't change what is in England up until GTF2 fixes this. You know what I mean? And I'm not even sure I want the power because tell you what, it could really change things good for good. But it would also remove some of your rights, and I would feel bad about it. You know, I don't want to change everything because I strongly believe in my Canadian rights. You know, even if I don't end up calling all the shots, I don't want to be the one to call all the shots because I want the power to be in the hands of my people. A true king looks for what is best for his people. And in my opinion, the people aren't doing that bad because they're living a lot better than I do. And I'm not complaining. And I don't want to seem like I'm bitching and complaining. But I'm seeing that at least a lot of people are living a lot better than I do. So as a king, I feel a lot better that I'm poor. I feel a lot better that I'm not in a situation that I'm in power above everybody else. You know what I mean? The power is in the hands of my people. Because people are your workforce. People make a country. People are patriotic. People are living beings. People, you know, have rights to decide. And the people make you king or leader. You know, it's like the females of the country call 911 to vote for me in emergency when Donald Trump was starting to issue threats towards Canada. You know, the females got scared. They wanted a military man, a soldier, to be in power. They checked the laws, I guess. Some of them checked the laws, and they wanted a soldier to be in power. They wanted, and they all voted for me. You know, the females voted for me. The GTF2 said, especially in town, especially in Edmonton. I heard GTF2 say, you know, a lot of the women in town did call 911 to vote for me in emergency. So thank you, you know. So At the end of the day, I don't feel like it would be a bad thing if I would be in power. I just feel I would be better in the lab, personally, and spending time with my family. Uh, I worked hard enough in my life. I deserve a little vacation, and other leaders are qualified. You know what I mean? I trust that they all they all want what's best for the country. I want to fight corruption, but since they're willing to tell the truth or some of the truth, I can see that at least they're not so corrupt. You know what I mean? They're at least willing to work with me to a certain extent, or with the forces. So I want to turn the page on the past, and I want to look for a better future for myself, my family, and this country. And whether or not I end up in power of all three or whatever, I technically I am, but I don't want to remove your rights. Here's a problem. If I annex the states, I would also have to annex Canada because I'm a royal monarch in power in Canada. You voted for me in emergency, therefore making me a monarch over three countries. Because I decide basically when I end the emergency, right? Or GTF2 as a whole decides when we end emergency. The Prime Minister has to listen to what the forces tell him. You know what I mean? Deep down, as long as we stay in emergency, you don't have a right to vote. Even no matter who you vote for, it doesn't change the fact that GTF2 are in the lead of the country. The Prime Minister will still have to listen to the military. At the end of the day, does it change anything? I still end up being a royal monarch over three countries. And I feel wrong about it, because I'm stripping your rights. All because of Trump's betrayal. You know what I mean? And I can see that deep down, at least no matter what happens, the power's in my people to make a change. And they voted for me. The females of this country all voted for me in emergency. That's what GTF2 said, I got people in town saying the same thing, I'm not just talking shit, because people in town talk to me, They all see what's on the TV or whatever, and they tell me, they actually thank me for my service, so thanks, Administrator, It's just I feel so wrong being in power above my people. Because I believe in my rights. I believe in the rights of people, I believe in diplomacy. I believe in the power of a vote. I believe in the people. And any rightful king has to want what's best for his people, his citizens. No matter what, you have to look for what's best for the people and not yourself. And that's what's the big problem. The problem is the royal family only looked for themselves because they wanted me to be a slave. They wanted me dead. They wanted me to be poor. They didn't want me to be in power. They were greedy. That's a big problem. That's what I want the citizens to realize. The royal family, screwed up a lot of things. I'm not hiding it. I want to turn the page with the Canadian government, but I'm still angry with the royal family for what they did to me. And I want to fight the corruption. You know what I mean? I saw Prince Charles is sick with cancer and is now hospitalized, so good thing that he might not be able to lead anymore, in my opinion. So perfect timing, right? Hey, they wanted bad against me, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They're not my family, even though they're my blood. Look at Princess Meghan, she actually looks a little more like me, but is she family to me? No. Was she nice to me? I don't know. It's up to you to tell me. What do you think? So, I want the decision to be to the Canadians and the Americans. Decide. You know, your voting power counts. And if I were American, I would do anything to impeach Trump.